Good morning, my darlings. I'm inside today. We have a cold front coming in, which means it's very breezy outside, and that breeze I'm noticing is pulling all the I-4 traffic noise. It's very loud out there today, so I did a little test, and test 1, 2, test. It was too much, so I just decided we'd come inside and have our conversation. This is conversation 14 of 100. It's a commitment I made on January 1st to do 100 conversations in 100 days. Just for no real reason other than to connect with people, really. So if you're new to the channel, welcome, and thank you for being here, and thank you for subscribing. And if you are not new to the channel, welcome back, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm so excited to connect with you every day. Your comments are lovely, and I appreciate you very, very much. So with that said, wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are feeling loved and blessed and safe and seen. Cold. I even prepared. I put long sleeves on for being outside. Because I think this is one of like 3 long sleeve shirts that I own. I do actually like Florida winter as long as I'm not outside in it. Florida winter is weird. It's like you can ask anybody who's experienced it. Like I know people that come from like the UK and the Netherlands, and they're like, what is going on here with the cold? Because it'll be like 50 degrees and they're like, I've been warmer in sub-zero temperatures with snow, and nobody gets it until you've experienced it. And then you're like, what the heck is up with Florida cold? It's very weird. Humidity, I guess. I don't know, but it is a type of bone-chilling cold that I have never felt anywhere else but here. So, and I've been in the snow. But anyway, I enjoy it because the summers are so hard and so hot and so humid, and I wilt badly. So when it gets cold like this, and tomorrow night's low is supposed to be 32. I soak it in, and I'm just like, thank you. I'm gonna enjoy it. Again, like I said, as long as I'm not having to, like, being out at Disney in this is not fun. I don't enjoy that. But when I'm here at the house and I can just sit on the patio in the cold for a little bit, I enjoy it. Anyway, I hope wherever you are that you're staying safe and warm, because if Florida is cold, y'all must be freezing. So keep warm. It is Wednesday. Gosh, middle of the week, right? I actually want to talk to you guys today about something that happened to me yesterday, but before we get there, I want to tell you about the roast. Oh my God, it turned out amazing. It turned out amazing. It is my new favorite thing to cook, and we'll probably be seeing a lot of it in the future in my meal planning. Although I have committed to like getting my meat sent to me once a month. There's a place here in Florida called Florida Prime Beef, and it's all grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised, all of that good stuff. And you know, I can get all the meat sent to me monthly on monthly deliveries. So I'm giving it a try for this month. I'm going to put my order in tonight, and so the first order will get here next week, and we'll see how it goes. I mostly ordered steaks and ground beef. I didn't order the roast, even though I loved it, because they had the steaks, which is how I cut the roast up. I cut it up in big, thick, like steaks. So I thought I would just give the steaks a try, because I can do those in the air fryer much quicker than I did the roast in the oven. Anyway, but turned out amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was just a beautiful cut of meat. I loved it. It's so funny, you guys. I had a dream last night that I was eating a salad. How bad is that, right? I can still tell you, it had like a blue cheese and a balsamic vinaigrette on it. There were baby spinach leaves. There were a lot of nuts and seeds. Oh, that made me think of, and pretzels. It had like long pretzel pieces on it. And it's so funny to me. I'm dreaming about salads. But that reminded me though, the seeds. I don't really like seeds that much, except for when you go to Sebastian's out at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort. They put candied pumpkin seeds on their salad. That is delicious. Although anything candied, I suppose, is delicious. So it's probably not a fair comparison. Anyway, all that being said, I want to actually talk to you today about, I guess, I don't know, synchronicities. The loveliest thing happened to me yesterday, right? So Amy came over, and that was lovely all in of itself. But after we ate lunch, we were talking about, I'm picking her brain about, should I get my annual pass? Should I not get my, and she's great because she's like, well, what does your heart want? And how do you feel when you think about this? Amy is the best friend ever. So anyway, at one point I was just like, I feel like I know what I need to do, what I want to do, but the money scares me. So I'm like, I'm just going to go take a walk. I will sometimes walk out my front door and around the building and in the back door just to get steps usually. But today I was just like, I'm going to take that walk to clear my head and then I'll be right back. Only I wasn't right back. And eventually Amy came looking for me, because what happened is I got to the end of the hallway, and when you get to the end of the hallway, there's actually a wall, because there's a walkway that goes out to either side, and then the second half of this building is there. So I usually will go to the right and just kind of step out into, that's like the dog walk area. And I'll usually just kind of step out there because it's grassy and open, and I just kind of take a couple of deep breaths. I can see the I-4 from there, and I like watching the traffic go by. So I'll kind of stand there for a minute. Yesterday when I did that, I felt my guides urge me, just go sit down on one of those benches over there. Just go sit for a minute and just really breathe, blah, blah, blah. So I did it. I did that. And, within a minute or two, a lady came by with her dog, which, I love the puppies. So I started talking to her about that. And I can't remember what exactly she said about, I don't mean to interrupt your quiet time or something like that. I honestly don't know what she said, but I remember responding to her. I was like, oh, don't even worry about it. I'm like, I'm trying to make a big life decision at the moment, and I just needed to clear my head. So I'm just sitting here to clear my head. And she suggested to me, she's like, oh, you should, not here because this is where the dogs pee, but she's like, you should go find some grass and take your shoes off and stand on the grass and ground. Of course, that's one of my favorite things to do. I love having my bare feet on grass or in sand, just like that connection to the actual earth. We're so disconnected from the earth between shoes and concrete, and we don't feel the electromagnetic pulses and all of that. So when you do stand barefoot on the earth, there is something so healing about it, so grounding, so beautiful, so energetic, recentering. So anyway, I was all in on that conversation, but that led to another thing, to another thing, to another thing. We had so many similarities. Both her ex-husband, my dead husband's, their names were David. We had similar struggles. Her struggles were so much like her life struggles, so much beyond what mine ever have been. But we had similarities, and we're able to really connect on so many things and just kind of bless each other. And she's just such a beautiful soul. I don't want to tell her story because that would just be rude, but such a beautiful soul. And to watch her be so aware of herself at this stage of her life and so intentional. It was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And then eventually Amy came out because she was looking for me. She wondered what had happened to me. So Amy came out. So Amy sat down, and then we ended up talking a while longer, the three of us. And I think both Amy and I got an answer to the things that we are pondering right now within this conversation. And it just such lovely synchronicity. Because if I hadn't felt like I should go take this walk right in this minute, we would have missed each other. Even though she lives in the other half of the building on the second floor. Actually, she lives across the hall from the apartment I was planning to rent before I saw the patio on this one. So we would have been right across the hall from one another. She just moved in a few months ago. So yeah, it was such a beautiful, beautiful moment. And it's exactly what I always say. You have to follow your heart. The dreams are the treasure map of your soul. I was wrestling through following my heart that led me outside to meet Emmeline. And I'm so grateful for that meeting. I'm so grateful for that conversation. We exchanged phone numbers and all of that. But even if we never saw each other again, even if we never spoke again, just that conversation yesterday was so beautiful and gave both Amy and I a lot of clarity. And I hope we blessed her in some way as well. And her little dog, Poochie. It was so cute. He was born deaf. He's like, I want to say he was like 14. He's a very elderly dog now, and he's missing one tooth. So one tooth sticks out and his tongue comes out a little on that side. Oh my God. The cutest little pup. Oh my goodness. It was just such a beautiful moment of, like I said, synchronicity. And that thing, what I always say, you have to follow your heart. You have to follow your dreams. Your dreams are not silly fluff. Your dreams are not fantasy land. I don't care what your dream is. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. What you have to do is look at it for real. Like, I had a friend once, her dream was she wanted to be a mermaid, and she's like, well, that's not even a thing. I was like, well, yeah, it is. There are a lot of people that actually, they buy the tails and they get their photos done for Instagram, or they swim in aquariums. I'm like, you can be a mermaid. But in pulling that apart, what we really realized was mermaids represented playfulness and fun to her. She wanted to play and have fun. Pick your dreams apart. If they seem irrational or ridiculous, pick them apart. Actually allow yourself to look at them and see what it is about this thing that you think you want that you actually want. Because a lot of the times it's not the thing that you think it is the thing you actually want. Like, even Disney for me, like, my dream all my life was to live at Disneyland. Ended up being live at Disney World. I mean, I lived on the same street as Disneyland, and I could walk to Disneyland, but I always wanted to live inside. Like one of the shops on Main Street, live upstairs, something like that. Anyway, oh, actually, no. The thing that they turned into the Fantasy Suite or whatever in New Orleans Square, that Walt's old apartment, well, one of the two apartments he had over there, that is a beautiful space with that courtyard patio and the balcony that looks over New Orleans Square and Frontierland. That's where I'd like to live. But anyway, obviously that is impossible. So what is it that I want to feel, though? I want to feel close to the place that I love. I want to feel that sense of beauty and home, which I can create in my own home. And over time, I will do that here. I've got a good start going, but I still have a lot of work I want to do here. I want to make this house, this apartment, really feel like Disney, to be honest with you. I want it to feel that magical and beautiful and peaceful, and I don't know, I do, so that's a path I will continue to follow. But it's because I had that dream that I ended up in Florida in the first place. Because I moved to Virginia. I've told you this. I moved to Virginia to help my mother with something, and I was there for a decade, worst decade of my life. Hated almost every minute of it. Terrible things happened to me in Virginia. Do not recommend. The only thing terrible that didn't happen to me was I used to go to Virginia Tech, the Arboretum, often. It was kind of my Disney. And so when the big shooting happened there, boy, my phone lit up like crazy, but I was depressed that morning and didn't go. So that didn't happen to me. But anyway, on a brighter note, when my life imploded in Virginia, and I was kind of looking at the crossroads of, like, just give up, go to your bed, and just give it up. Just forget it, wait for death, or live again. I'm sure, by no coincidence, again, synchronicities, I saw an article about Golden Oak. Now, I was living in a trailer in Virginia, so it was not like I sat there and thought, I'm gonna go live in this $1 million house, because at the time they were just like $1 to $2 million houses. This is at the beginning. But even that, I knew that wasn't a thing. But what got me about it was my whole life, people had told me, you can't live at Disney. You can't live in Disney. You can't do that. Nobody lives in Disney. And now I'm looking at this article, people buying houses on Disney property inside the bounds of Disney World. I got mad. Because nobody had ever, in my whole life, nobody ever encouraged any of my dreams. Ever. In fact, they actively worked against them. I find my biggest dream growing up was I wanted to work at Disneyland. I finally got the job at Disneyland, and probably within the first year anyway, my family staged an intervention and told me I had to quit that job because my mother wouldn't let me take the bus because it was like a 2-hour bus ride because we were living in Santa Monica. So my mother was taking me because she didn't want me to take the bus, and that's fine. I get that, but then my family, particularly my grandfather, said that's not fair to your mother. You have to quit this job. And I was like, I listened to them all and everything, but I was like, no, this is the only dream I've ever had, and I'm living it, and no. So I moved out. I moved to Anaheim. And when I saw that article for Golden Oak, there was a switch that flipped in me. And I realized that I only want to follow my dreams. I want to stop listening to all the people in my life that keep telling me I can't do stuff. I got so mad. I was like, oh, I get it at the time. Of course I get it. There was no way to live there. But to laugh at a person who has a dream that might seem crazy to you is just, first of all, it's rude. Second of all, it's cruel. It's cruel to the spirit of the other person. I don't care what your dream is. Nobody should be laughing at it. You know? There is a way to follow your dream. Even if the end game of your dream doesn't exist in that moment, follow it anyway. Because if I had followed my dream, maybe by the time Golden Oak existed, I would have had a more stable existence, and maybe I would have been able to buy a house in Golden Oak. I mean, there's no way to ever know. But I'm just saying, it's like, your dreams matter. Your dreams matter. They are the compass. They are the direction system, the navigational system of your life. I'm seriously, like, your dreams and astrology. The astrology is like God's word written in the sky. People always say, well, in God's timing, it's in God's timing. The astrology is God's timing. And if you learn it, or you connect with somebody who really knows it, not somebody who just is. There's a lot of bad in the astrology community, and there's a lot of people who don't even know what they're doing that, try to tell you what the astrology is. So you do have to be careful. But if you really get to know the astrology, you know the timing of things. You know when things are going to happen for you. You know when things are going to happen in the world. So between your dreams and the astrology, between my dreams and the astrology, I know what I want to do. I know how to get where I want to go. And no, I'm not there yet, but I'm headed there, and I am leaps and bounds ahead of where I've ever been in the past. So yeah, I'm very grateful. Very, very grateful. In a weird way, I appreciate the fact, that like my family never understood me and never really supported me, and that my mother was very, very toxic. Because I will say that my mother is one of the most influential people in my life, and it sounds bad, and I don't mean it in a bad way. God love her. She and I don't speak, haven't spoken for over a decade, because it is what it is, but God love her, because she has definitely defined the path I don't want to take. And when I see myself ever veering that way, I know to put the brakes on. Anytime I get stuck in my life, I'd be like, well, what would my mother do? And I would choose the opposite choice. And I get that that's weird and backwards, and obviously not what you want from a mother. But my mother has admitted to me that she's never loved me. So, what do you do with that? It's like, and that was a hard burden for me. I mean, if your mother doesn't find you lovable, and your dad left, which granted, he didn't leave me so much as he left my mother, but, that's a heavy mind F. I'm trying to keep my mouth clean on here, you guys. I really am. Showing up without cursing. It's not that I curse a lot, but I do kind of like the F word. It's a good punch to things. Anyway, it's just, and this is something that came up in the conversation with Emmeline a lot yesterday. It's just about the gratitude for your own journey, the gratitude for the things that you've been through, the grace and the forgiveness that you dole out backwards to your younger self who just honestly didn't know better, you know, or was in a situation that you didn't have better choices to make. If you're a person that has been a fighter and is still here and is still dreaming and is still wanting more for your life, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times you screwed up. It doesn't matter. If you're the kind of person that is still dreaming and still fighting, then you are the kind of person that has always tried to do the best you could do with the circumstances you had, with what life dealt you, with the knowledge that you had, with the experiences you had. And that's the best you could have done. So you have to give grace to yourself. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive the people that played parts in your life that were terrible. There's a few people in my past that, you know, I can get to neutral with them. And in large part because you just don't want to bring all that negative energy in with you into your day-to-day now. You know, like where I am right now is I'm so happy. I'm so happy here. So it's like, oh, what was that? Oh, Slipper in the Rose. Have you guys ever seen Slipper in the Rose? It's my favorite version of Cinderella, like ever. You have to go look for it. It's on Amazon Prime because I watch it from time to time, even still to this day. It's got Richard Chamberlain plays the prince. I don't think anybody else, it was an English or British production, so everybody else were British actors, so I didn't particularly know them. But it's just brilliant. And there's the part, one of the best scenes that any Cinderella has ever given us is when the wicked stepmother and the wicked stepsisters realize that she's the girl from the ball and that she's leaving with the prince. And, you know, they're trying to pretend that things are different than they are, whatever. And her and the prince turn to leave, and she turns around and she says, "In my happiness, I forgive you all." And that's the deal right there, isn't it? In my happiness, I forgive you all. Because does it matter anymore? I'm happy. I have everything I could ever want right now. It doesn't matter. The past doesn't really matter. The past becomes a tapestry of your lessons and of the wisdom that you've gained. One of the other things that we were talking about yesterday was, you know, a little bit about the shift. I actually opened up with her a little bit about what my gifts are and what I knew about, you know, the craziness coming in 2020 and everything. And with that winding down now, and I was telling her, because she was saying, it's something that I know that Amy and I both feel a lot too. It's like sometimes you're like, oh, why couldn't I be this smart in my 20s? You know, my life would have gone very differently. My kids would have had a better life. But we were talking about that, and I definitely channeling in that moment because I know this and I believe this to be true. I don't particularly like it, but I believe it to be true. Those of us of this generation, you know, Gen X, raised in the 80s, that kind of a thing, we haven't actually had our chance yet to do what we came for, because what we came for is in the new era. We're here to set the new wisdom. We're here to set the new it depends on your sign. Like Libras, we're here to set new relationship standards. You know, so all the signs have their part to play. New relationships with boundaries, new relationships with money, all of this. Not relationships per se, but all of that. And it's going to come mostly from the Gen Xers, because what the Gen Xers have that none of the other generations have is we have the wisdom and the experience and understanding. And it wasn't time before. Now, I'm trying to put this correctly. The time is now to set the new era, right? The sun came up over the ecliptic in 2012 with the Mayan calendar. You know, the Mayans were like, the world is ending. The world wasn't ending. And I don't think they thought it was ending either. But what happened was the sun came up over the ecliptic at that day. And the sun spends 6,000 years above the ecliptic and 6,000 years below the ecliptic. Dark ages, light ages. We're now back in the light ages. But we've got all these battles going on to separate from the dark. And those of us who came to help that, those of us that came to bring light and love to the planet and to help reset the the age. I mean, we're also now in the age of Aquarius. So those of us that really came to do that, we would have to have wisdom. We would have to be of an age to have had life experiences, to have had wisdom, to have fallen down a lot, screwed up a lot, had life throw a lot of stuff at us. The 20-year-olds don't have the wisdom. They don't have enough experience yet to do it. Not really. It's us. We're here to change the world, you guys, and it's finally our time. So don't worry about how much time you think you've lost. You were here for this moment, such a time as this, Esther. For such a time as this. This is what you were here for. This is our moment. After February, the real game begins. Light needs to take over at that point. We all need to bring our voices online. It's funny. I said voices and my throat caught on it. We need to bring our voices online, and there will be pushback on that. Spiritual, energetic, physical. But that's what we are here for. And it's not pick a cause and go fight for it. It's pick yourself. Pick your dreams. Fight for yourself. Because if you, if I, if we are following our dreams, are as joyful and happy and peaceful as I am currently in this situation, then we ripple out with love and with light and with hope and with inspiration to every person we meet. That changes the world. You don't have to go fight people. You don't have to go convince other people to live this way or that way. People are here with their own paths, and most of which you'll never understand, most of which is above our pay grade. But what you are here meant to understand, what you are meant to understand is yourself, is your own heart, what you know, what you believe is true. Get yourself aligned with yourself. I also say with that which you know as God, because I believe in a higher power. I believe in that purpose of it all. But get aligned at the very least with yourself. Know your heart. Be brave. Be honest. Find the courage. Follow your dreams. That's how you will change this world. If you don't like this world, I'm sorry. If you don't like this world, that's how you will change it. And right now we're in a very difficult time where I think a lot of people, particularly a lot of Gen Xers, we don't want to get out there and, well, of course, a lot of Gen Xers are out there, like on the protests. And in my opinion, a lot of them being very hateful. And that's certainly not going to change anything for the better. But a lot of Gen Xers are also sitting with their mouth closed because they don't want to get attacked. And that's understandable because we've just gone through, a decade, really, about 11 years of just, older traditional values, the golden rule, all the things that we grew up believing in being very much attacked. And I think that led to many of us, okay, I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to be quiet. You do you. I'm going to do me. I'm not going to share too much with you because I don't want to get attacked. And that was very, very valid. But I think that we're coming to an end of that. I think you can already see that starting to pivot a little bit. But at the end of the day, first of all, not everybody has to do a vlog. Not everybody has to put all their stuff out there like for some reason Crazy Me is doing. But in your life, it's time to follow your dreams if you haven't been already. It is time. What are you dreaming of? What is your ultimate? What is your North Star in life? Where do you want to be that you don't think you can get to? And thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm going to stop harassing you because I'm repeating myself. I've said what I've said. Hopefully, somebody can take heart in that. I know I'm taking heart in that. Today, I'm going to continue my plans for... I'll tell you guys about it at the weekend. I'm going to continue my plans for the day. And I'm going to get my budget in order because I kind of get paid monthly. And that day is coming. So I need to do my budget for the month and make sure I'm aligned properly. So that's what my day is about today. I hope that whatever you spend your Wednesday on is beautiful and treats your soul well. May you be well, may you be blessed, and may I see you again tomorrow.